Hey Martin, so I've just read your reply to my initial thing and looked at your to my initial post, I guess, and looked at your image. So I've kind of got a better feel for what's tripping you up there. Effectively, I mean, I this might be hard to illustrate, but I've got pretty tiny hands. I mean, especially my pinky it's like obscenely short. So it's possible to play fine with smaller hands. It's down to, especially in your case, we're going to look at thumb positioning and ways we can utilize that to shift the hand with minimal movement. So you can make larger shifts with shifting the whole hand quite quickly. So let's so that wasn't the best fingering of that kind of arpeggio, but that's just to give you an idea that you can shift across the neck quite quickly by shifting the whole hand. But what I wanted to talk about, which is especially important with smaller hands, although your hands don't look that small, they're probably bigger than mine actually. There's some technical stuff still that you can do, and I still recommend this to everyone regardless of the size of your hand, because the more relaxed you can keep your whole hand while you're playing, the more economical you can be, the easier it is to avoid injury, that kind of thing. So the first thing that jumps out to me is your thumb positioning. It's quite sort of like off to the side here, and quite a lot of your palm is underneath the neck, so this kind of thing, which isn't really ideal for movement because of this mid part of your thumb is touching the neck. It's kind of like it kind of bunches everything up a little bit. So if we're gonna hold on, so this is the kind of shape we're trying to do, right? So generally, this is what my thumb is doing. It's sort of just in between the index and the middle, and then maybe there's a good way I can show this to you. Okay, there's a bit of a weird angle, but I'm trying to give you an idea of what's going on the back of the neck. So as I play this, I'm playing through the same exercise you mentioned, exercise 4. So the thumb is kind of doing this thing, where you pivot on the thumb. That's kind of a very important thing to be doing. If you have your thumb in a sort of more towards the center than you have it, you get the ability to just rock on it when you're playing these shapes where it's that you only need a little bit extra room. So showing that from the front. Whoops. I'm overthinking things here. But I'm trying to sort of demonstrate that hopefully my other fingers being like so close to the fretboard isn't throwing you off. But so I go from the root to the second, to the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So you'll see my hand making these shifts. The thumb isn't moving, like I'm not shifting my whole hand, but I'm just pivoting on the thumb. So it's just kind of like a rolling motion, and that will give me that extra like couple of centimeters of movement. Now, obviously, I should mention that Scott kind of gets into this. He gives some tips for people with smaller hands in week 6. Yeah, week 6. So I'm not going to go too all in on this, but this kind of neutral position where I'm effectively covering these 4 frets, right, will allow me to just pivot on the thumb to move the pinky up to fret that next note, and then I'll pivot back, get the third. Now this feels really comfortable to me now. At first, getting used to shifting the hand that much is weird, and I the natural tendency is to stretch the hand out, which I have done in the past, and then when you stretch the hand out, you get all this kind of nasty tension and stuff in the wrist. So the more you can keep the more you can keep this hand relaxed, the easier it is to move, the less likely you are to get any soreness or tension on there, any of that kind of thing. So just to expand on that a little bit further, when you're shifting sort of further across the neck, it's actually a movement. So if this is such an awkward angle, right? Okay, there we go. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what that looks like when I'm making larger shifts across the neck. But as I mentioned, Scott's going to get into some of the stuff in lesson 6, but hopefully that gives you some ideas of how you can adjust your posture with the hand, because you want to get this palm off the bottom of the neck. Hopefully I can show you this from the side. So you can see there's a fair bit of space there, and it's only really my fingers touching the bottom of the neck a little bit there. Scott's finger doesn't really do that, so differences in technique a little bit, but it's something I've always done, I guess. But you can kind of see from the side that I don't have this palm stuck to the bottom of the neck that you kind of got there. I mean, it's only partially touching, but that's gonna restrict your movement a lot in the hand, and it's gonna also force your thumb to do what it's doing, which is to kind of go out this way. So if you bring the thumb in, so you're kind of going from this position, and you bring the thumb in, and this hand can drop down and open up a lot. And then this should feel hopefully a lot more comfortable. But let me know how you get on with it, and I'll try and offer some more advice. I'm just going to read through once more just to make sure I hit all the points that you raised. Counterclockwise. Okay, so reaching with the pinky. This is really hard to show. I am bringing part of my hand, this first part of my hand, up in front of the neck in order to reach with the pinky, because my pinky is, there's not much length there, right? So I am bringing my hand a little bit up to reach the E string. But this is still a fairly neutral kind of position, and sorry, I just hit the mic. I think if I had my thumb out to the side and I was doing this, it would be a nightmare. So I think it's much more to do with getting that thumb position right, getting your hand off the bottom of the neck, which will come with the thumb position, to be honest, and then you can more easily use that thumb as a point to pivot. So you have all this range of motion that currently isn't available to you. So, yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah, you start to get towards the baseball bat thing, which for playing a full scale like this is not gonna be that good. Cool. Okay. I think that answers things. Sorry if it was a little bit rambly and whatnot. Let me know how you get on with that, and I'll try and sort of offer any further tips that I can. All right, bye.